Your sacred land is being plundered. The next could be our own. No more sacrifice zones. No more sacrifice zones.
This is in a studio, a work in progress, I believe, a portrait of the late Marxist author C.L.R. James. Hello, my name is Stanley Heller. Welcome to The Struggle. The Struggle is shown on over 30 cable stations from Maine to New York City, on the internet at thestruggle.org. Over 100 Yale Law School students on September 24th held a sit-in to show solidarity with Professor Christine Blaisey Ford, the first accuser of Judge Kavanaugh. In Washington, D.C., a number of Yale Law students joined in a press conference held by Connecticut Senator Richard Blumenthal and Senator Chris Coons. They're calling for an investigation into the charges against Kavanaugh, not just she said, he said hearings.
If we proceed this Thursday, which Senator Blumenthal and I have both joined Senator Feinstein, the ranking Democrat on Judiciary, in opposing, if we proceed this Thursday, will we have any investigation by the professionals of the FBI? No, we won't. Will we have any witnesses coming forward who are experts in trauma-informed testimony by survivors of assault? No, we most likely won't.
We record the day after Dr. Ford's riveting testimony charging attempted rape and Judge Kavanaugh's claims that there's a conspiracy against him. It appears, though, the Senate Judiciary Committee will vote today without even hearing testimony from the two other women who are charging sexual offenses. This is news. A group representing 6,000 Mormon women are demanding that the 4 Mormon senators follow their faith and call for a suspension in Kavanaugh deliberations until there is a full independent investigation. Bully for them. Are there other religious figures or groups speaking out? Speaking of Yale, Yale professor Jason Stanley has been making a big splash of late, talking about the dangers of fascism in the United States. For instance, there was a full-page article about him in the New Haven Register. He'll be giving a talk October 30th in the New Haven Library. His latest book is called How Fascism Works. Fellow Professor Timothy Snyder has also been talking about a fascist takeover in the U.S., one that might follow a new or faked terrorist incident. Another path, more likely in my view, is a steady takeover of institutions and a cutting away of checks and balances. That's what happened in Hungary and Poland, and that's what appears to be going on in the United States. Will Americans stand for such a catastrophe, or will they be inspired by the courage of Dr. Christine Blaisey Ford and turn out for meetings and demonstrations to fight the fascist tide? There's been calls for public solidarity with Idlib, Syria. These are photographs from a demonstration in Chicago. This is one from Arkansas. A D.C. rally postponed because of weather has been rescheduled for Sunday, September 30th at the White House starting at noon. By the way, the Struggle website, we have a link to an excellent article from Waging Nonviolence about how democratic forces in Idlib are taking on religious extremists and having considerable success. As you know, the Gandhi Peace Award took place in New Haven a few weeks ago. Here's some of the music at the start of the ceremony from Luci Murphy and Ben Grosscup. Both are affiliated with the People's Music Network.
My children are hungry. They're sick from the heat. While I pick the crop for others to eat, and you take my money, you think I don't see. You use it to fire on women like me. My children are ragged, their bodies are bare. While I sew the clothes for others to wear, and you take my money, and you take my money. You think I don't see. You use it to fire. You use it to fire on women like me. I live in a dump. My landlord's no good. While I clean the house in a rich neighborhood, and you take my money. You think I don't see. You think I don't see. You use it to fire. You use it to fire on women like me. I wanted my children to have a good skill, but they go in your army and you teach them to kill. Why you take my children? You think I don't see. You teach them. You teach them to fire on women like me. Now rifles and guns won't win any wars unless you've got something that's worth fighting for. But you take my children. You think I don't see. You use them. You use them to fire on women like me. But you take my children.
In his 2012 book, Days of Destruction, Days of Revolt, Chris Hedges reports on America's sacrifice zones. The army closed you in as they drove you from the plains. They're turning your sacred land to a sacrifice zone. The company took the uranium, just the fallout remains. They're turning your sacred land to a sacrifice zone, where your story's been forgotten. We will make it known. Pine Ridge, you are not alone. Your sacred land is being plundered. The next could be our own. No more sacrifice zones. No more sacrifice zones. Well, in the 1950s, the U.S. government designated the Pine Ridge Indian Reservation a sacrifice zone. U.S. corporations have long pillaged this place of its coal and uranium. Meanwhile, the average life expectancy for a man is 47 years. That's lower than in any other single country. At Pine Ridge, the genocide against our indigenous brothers and sisters is an ongoing crime. Hedges argues this genocide is a template by which capitalism disciplines and destroys any people deemed irrelevant to the accumulation of wealth and power. The coal men blew the mountain, killing everything nearby.
They're turning your region to a sacrifice zone.
The state refuses to help your people as you watch them die.
They're turning your region to a sacrifice zone.
Where your story's been forgotten, where your story's been forgotten, we will make it known.
We will make it known.
Appalachia, you are not alone. Appalachia, you are not alone. Your region is being plundered. The next could be our own. No more sacrifice zones.
No more sacrifice zones.
The rich make voting obsolete as they quash local control.
They're turning your city to a sacrifice zone.
The cops occupy your street and leave a bloody toll.
They're turning your city to a sacrifice zone.
Where your story's been forgotten, where your story's been forgotten,
we will make it known.
Ferguson,
Ferguson, you are not alone.
your city is being plundered.
The next could be our own. No more sacrifice zones. No more sacrifice zones.
The walls divide you from the world and make you feel alone.
They're turning your homeland to a sacrifice zone.
The pundits provide excuses to send in the tanks and drones.
They're turning your homeland to a sacrifice zone.
Where your story's been forgotten,
we will make it known.
Palestine,
Palestine, you are not alone.
your homeland is being plundered.
The next could be our own. No more sacrifice zones. No more sacrifice zones. No more sacrifice zones. No more sacrifice zones. The next song is from Venezuela. written by Ali Primera. No basta rezar. It's not enough to pray. The chorus says, no, it's not enough to pray. We need to do a lot more things to create peace. They pray sincerely. They know the prayer by heart, but the pilot also prays before he flies the plane to bomb the children of Iraq. The last verse says, without revolution, nothing will be achieved. The rich man prays, the boss prays, and then mistreats the poor. No, prayer is not enough. We need to do a lot more things to create peace. No basta rezar. No basta rezar, hacen falta muchas cosas para conseguir la paz. No basta rezar, hacen falta muchas cosas para conseguir la paz. Y rezan de buena fe, y rezan de corazón, pero también reza el piloto cuando monta en el avión para ir a bombardear a los niños de Irak, para ir a bombardear a los niños de Irak. No basta rezar, hacen falta muchas cosas para conseguir la paz. No basta rezar, hacen falta muchas cosas para conseguir la paz. Cuando el pueblo se levante y que todo haga cambiar, ustedes dirán conmigo, no bastaba con rezar. Ustedes dirán conmigo, no bastaba con rezar. No basta rezar, hacen falta muchas cosas para conseguir la paz. No basta rezar, hacen falta muchas cosas para conseguir la paz. En el mundo no habrá paz mientras hay explotación del hombre por el hombre y exista desigualdad. Del hombre por el hombre y exista desigualdad. No basta rezar, hacen falta muchas cosas para conseguir la paz. No basta rezar, hacen falta muchas cosas para conseguir la paz. Nada se puede lograr si no hay revolución. Reza el rico, reza el amo y te maltratan al peón. Reza el rico, reza el amo y te maltratan al peón. No basta rezar, hacen falta muchas cosas para conseguir la paz. No basta rezar. No basta rezar.
The Intercept reports that on September 26th, New Jersey Senator Bob Menendez, the top Democrat on the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, is holding up $2 billion in arms sales to Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates over concerns that those countries routinely bombed civilian targets in Yemen. Also, there's another attempt at trying to use the War Powers Act to stop U.S. aid for the Saudi war on Yemen, and it's being supported, surprisingly, by Democrat Steny Hoyer of Maryland. Surprisingly, I say, because the last time this was used, he was a prime opponent. Then there's the efforts from InsideArabia.com. They've produced large signs to be put on trucks and even on a tourist bus in New York City.
They have to have the windows open, right? Like this, it's okay?
Some people they close, some people they open.
هذا اللي تركوه من الكرم. أول خميس برمضان أنا كنت متواجد بالموقع هوني، رجعت يوم السبت قريب الظهر، إلا الكرم كله زي ما انتم شايفين دبلان. نزلت في الأرض اللي هو مقطع الشجر من الأرامي. وجدت شعارات مكتوبة بالعبري وأنا ما بعرف عبري. أنا عايش منها الأرض، وإخوتي الثلاثة أيضا عايشين منها. أنا مش عارف إيش بدي أسوي. سنوات وأنا أربي في الدالية، و10 سنوات جايات حتى يصير الشجر مثل ما قطعوه.
قبل موسم القطاف تقريبا بأسبوع فقط تفاجأنا إنه المستوطنين جوا على الكرمة هون وقطعوا الشيك من الخلف ودخلوا على الكرمة وقطعوا تقريبا 62 شجرة عنب مثمرة. صارت هناك كتبوها على صخرة هناك. هذا طبعا اثار الشجر اللي انقص اليبس، هذا بكون منطقة هاي شايف كيف كان مقصوص من تحت. هذا كله اثار الخراب اللي عملوه المستوطنين.
We close with a delight, a look at the Red Square Museum and Studio in New London, Connecticut. It's run by Mike Alewitz, a world-class muralist and artist. Alewitz took a derelict building built in 1852 and has steadily renewed it to house his banners, photos, and paintings. We'll look at a few of them. He showed us this labor banner that I recognized as one featured on the cover of a book about his work. Alewitz has made murals, posters, and banners all around the world. Here's a photo of one he did in Ukraine to honor the workers who died trying to secure the Chernobyl nuclear power center after the horrific meltdown in the 80s. It has been since torn down, as most of Alewitz's murals have, by people of the comfortable classes. This is Wesley Everest, a World War I veteran and IWW member, lynched by a mob in Centralia, Washington in 1919. This one looks a bit bizarre. It's fairly new. It's called Something Fishy About the Elections. This is in a studio, a work in progress, I believe, a portrait of the late Marxist author C.L.R. James. Part of a very large banner is Joe Hill, also a wobbly songwriter and martyr. I found a photo of Alewitz years ago painting that banner. On the banner, a cat, but not just any cat. Decades ago, the cat was a symbol of defiance on the job, from job actions to gumming up the works. Mumia Abu Jamal still in prison for killing a policeman. Many regard the conviction as a travesty of justice, a depiction of the famous labor demand for bread and roses. A detail from a banner about a police shooting decades ago in New Jersey of a young man named Sean Unity Potts. Here, the banner is carried in a demonstration. Finally, Alewitz, in front of a picture of part of one of his recent masterworks. It was to be one of several 17-foot-long panels arranged for an exhibition at the Museum of the City of New York. It was turned down on trivial grounds. Alewitz suspects that the real problem was the politics of his work. For instance, in this photo, you can see how in the 1700s, the slave ships would unload their cargo of kidnapped people right up at Wall Street in Manhattan. Just a bit about what's on the walls of the Red Square Museum in New London, Connecticut. On October 19th, an important program about Palestine called Rachel's Children, about the 500 to 700 children who every year are put in Israeli prisons. It's at the UU Church in Madison. More details next week. That's our program for today. See you next week at this time. I'm Stanley Heller for The Struggle.